Now joining us is the CAF Referee IT video instructor, Promise Uwaeme, joins us this afternoon. Promise, it seems when it comes to football in the world, and of course in Nigeria and Africa, one must also look at the aspect of officiating, and officiating has come under scrutiny in the last few months in the Nigerian Premier Football League. And of recent, we had a decision after the match played between Heartland and Shooting Stars. You must have seen the videos of the two incidents that led to the penalty decision by the referee. I would like to ask, do you think it was a right decision by the NFF referees committee to take this action to suspend the referee until maybe further notice?
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. First, I always say this: there is no room for anybody to think that because he or she is a referee that they want to do what they feel like doing on the field of play. There are rules of engagement. There are considerations for every incident that happens in the field for the referees to follow while taking their decisions, so that FIFA developed these considerations so that it can be uniform globally. Football is a global sport, and the rules, the laws of the game is also global, and so the days of the opinion of the referee is gone, so there are considerations. And for me, I think if we want to follow the considerations, those two incidents that I see, even though for policy for the video recording, I think it is not penalty, and it is okay for the referees development committee to do this through the unit to suspend the referee when they are found wanting, or keep them aside from the league for the sanity of the league, keep them aside until all investigation is concluded and all that. So also, it's also important for me. I think it's also a wise decision to suspend or to step aside the referee assessor for not reporting the incident, because you are there to watch, to assess the referees and report to the appropriate authorities. If you have failed to do that, you deserve all the thoughts.
All right, I promise we've taken your thoughts already. I mean, I would like to bring in retired FIFA referee and NPFL referee assessor, Anietie Ferdinand, joins us also. Good afternoon to you, Anietie. I mean, good to see you. I would like to say Happy New Year to you also. I mean, you've been in the business, you've seen it all when it comes to refereeing also. And with this particular incident, it caused lots of conversations on social media and WhatsApp and like. Do you also share the thought of Promise that it was right for the referee to be stepped down, or you feel the referee should have been given an opportunity to, defend himself and say, this is why I did this, and why I did that? All right. While Ferdinand is trying to do that, I would like to come to Promise again. Promise, from your experience, how challenging is it for referees to make split-second decisions in high-stake games, and how do you handle the pressure? I mean, pressure that comes with games like this.
Okay, for me, over time, or as the various levels that I've operated, I'm of the opinion that we should also consider bringing psychologists into the refereeing activities. In the past, we didn't have referee assessors in game. I think it's important for us to start talking to the referees, psychologically prepare them mentally for games. For instance, I can tell you, I saw a game over the weekend, last week, where a referee has awarded a penalty that could have been, that for me, I think it is slight, because it's through the consideration, doesn't meet all the criteria to be penalized for a penalty. Seconds later or minutes later, a clearer penalty has happened, and the referee couldn't take that decision. Why? Because mentally, I don't think the referee was ready, or that these things running through his mind that maybe he had made a mistake in the first one. He was just trying to balance it in the second incident. So the way they need to talk to them is because I can tell you that it is not easy to be at the center of the field for the 90 minutes. There are big decisions for you to take and all that. So we need to also start preparing them. Besides just preparing them technically and physically, there is need for us to prepare them mentally going into the game.
All right, thank you very much. I think we have Anietie Ferdinand back. Anietie, the question still is, was it the right decision to have stepped down the referee, and how do referees handle split decisions, making decisions, especially in games like this, and after, having to make these mistakes or error, how can they also ensure that they have not a disastrous outing or continuing in that same line in terms of, still have a fair game after, making mistake or errors in games like this? All right, let me come to Jidechi now. Jidechi, we'll be following the conversation. I also know you've also had your own thoughts, about what has happened. I've also seen fans on social media say the match should be replayed. If that has happened, the match should be replayed. But they say mistake is part of the game, but some mistakes are unforgivable. We've seen in climes whereby in Premier League referees have stepped down. Some of them are not allowed to officiate a certain game. But the NFF, they've been able to, we've seen swift decision, a swift action after almost, I think 24 hours after the game was seen, reaction from the NFF Referees Committee. How much of positives do you think this would make for the league going forward? And do you think that it will also serve as a deterrent to others, or it will just be who, according to in Pidgin, they say who they catch, now in they catch?
I think it's a good step. I have to commend the NFF for this particular one. Has to be possibly one of the fastest NFF decisions we've seen in recent years concerning referee decisions, referee activities. And I would say I particularly was taken by surprise when the NFF put out that statement that the referee would be suspended. Every now and then we do need someone to be scapegoated for others to fall in line. It's very necessary. If we want the best of the best for our league, then we do need decisions like this when some of the referees do what is not expected of them. We all saw the video. That was an absolute show of shame in Owerri. And you could tell clearly that he tried to make it up for the home team, the mistake he had already made by giving that penalty to the away side. And sometimes you do wonder, what was he thinking? We do have referees here. It's not usually difficult for them, easy for them rather, to make decisions in split seconds. But that's why you have your assistant referees to consult with at certain times. And this doesn't look like a decision that came up following due consultation with the assistants. And that's why when he's going down alone, because I'm very sure the assistants must have been considered at some point. So yes, we want to see decisions like this that would serve as a deterrent for every other professional acting in the league, every other person that is involved in taking crucial decisions that involve these teams. Because at the end of the day, Shooting Stars, yes, they were offered the first penalty, but they were also handed another penalty that did not look like a penalty against them. So you want to wonder what could have become of that game if things had been let to flow just the way it was supposed to. It's sad when we see things like this. I don't like getting involved in referee discourse anymore, because it really is one of the things that take our leagues back. When it looks like we are going forward, we have referee discourse that seem to be that many times to outsiders, those who do not follow the league as much as we do, it would look like things are not being done right in the league. And that's why many times I really do wish that these things are not even part of the discourse of the local football in Nigeria. But it is what it is. For what it is right now, the NFF have made a very good and swift decision that we all have to commend and hope that it serves as a necessary deterrent for every other person.
All right, you've also said yours. I don't know if we'll have Anietie back, if we can bring him up. But then, Promise, we've talked about his mistakes. We've talked about if the NFF was right or not. Let's look at the way forward. Now, we've seen before the introduction of VAR, the Champions League had an extra referee that stays behind the post to look at goal line. We had extra, human effort before the VAR. Now, in Nigeria, we know how expensive it is to have VAR, to aid the referees. But what other measures do you think can be done to further improve the league or to improve the referees' performance on the day? Are there things that you think that the NFF or the league body needs to look at to ensure that we have less of these issues whenever games are ongoing?
Before I respond to that question, I would like to talk about something my brother over there said about referees, and over time, decisions like this have been made, And I can assure you that in the last 2, 3, 4 seasons, referees have committed questionable or have exhibited questionable characters have not been left on the league. Some you might not hear about them, but I can assure you that this decision has been consistent over the last 2, 3, 4 years. That I can assure you. Now, talking about how can we make this better, I have been of this crusade for the past 4 seasons, even before the coming of this present board of the NPFL. And even when this board came and the contract was signed with SAFAM, yes, it was celebration for everybody. Our game is coming back on TV and all that. For me, it wasn't because our game is coming on TV. I was happy because we will have an avenue to train our referees, to start to assess our referees, train and retrain our referees with our own footages. I was expecting that SAFAM's contract was going to provide us the footages for the games that they covered. I know they don't cover all 10 games in a match day, but for the 4 games that they covered, we should be able to get good footages from those games to be able to use in retraining our referees. What this will do for us is that this referee knows that our game is on TV. He will be very careful. It will also put them on their toes. It will make them understand that this is no longer business as usual, because your case will be discussed, your case will be put in public place, or during trainings, you'll become a laughing stock. Nobody wants to be discussed for the wrong reason. That's one. Then 2, it will also help us to prepare, to help us to identify the challenges of this referee going into next season. As I speak to you now, we don't even know what is the big challenges for the referees this season, because we don't even have footages to be able to assess this. What do I do? I look at every game, and look at every incident that happened that appears on camera and review them and see what could be the challenge. What could be the challenge in this incident? Is it that the referee has the wrong position? Is it that the referee did this or did that? You understand? We don't just dwell on the decision of the referee. We focus on why did the referee got that decision wrong and all that. But without the right footages, without us having appropriate what we're supposed to use to train them, it's difficult for us to be able to do those kind of training. Now, what this will lead is next season we'll still be saddled with this kind of challenges coming up again, because we are not able to correct challenges that happen in this season. And I don't know why it is very difficult for the NPFL to instruct SAFAM to release these footages to the referee development committee or the unit, so that who can prepare and to retain the results. We saw the incident that happened in the Nasarawa shooting game in the match day 1. I think in Lafia and all that. Yes, the one in Lafia. We saw the incident. We saw that, yes, it was a terrible decision, just like we're discussing about the Heartland shooting again this match day. But in that incident, after looking at the footages that we had, even though they were poorly recorded, they were amateur footages, we could say that, yes, it was the wrong decision, yes, but what prompted the wrong decision? Because the referee moved the wrong direction. Yes, there are guidelines for even the way referees run the field, where they move to, where the ball is going to the right, where they are supposed to go and all that. We have all that, you understand? But where we don't have the right footages, we won't be able to say, hey, you took this wrong decision because you were supposed to go to the right and you moved to the left. So these are the things that I expect that the NPFL, except if the NPFL is happy with what they are getting in the league so far, but I expect them to do the needful by instructing part-time to say, okay, release these footages to this
all right, Promise. All right, Promise. I would like to quickly move on now to Anietie. I hope he's back with us. Anietie, thank you very much for joining us once again. I would like to ask, how can the NPFL and NFF prevent questionable refereeing? And as the season gradually comes to an end, we know we're already in the business end of the season. How can they also ensure that we do not have this kind of situation that might impact or influence how a game ends? And also, you know, to further help the referees to do their job this season.
Thank you for having me on your program. You see, being a referee is not easy. It's not easy. If you saw the decision Kolawole Emmanuel took against Shooting Stars and for Shooting Stars, both decisions were totally condemned, were totally wrong. like Promise was saying, like Promise said, at the time, go back to this clip, go back. I want to see this clip from the position the ball was hit. Yes, let's go back a bit. You see that Kolawole was nowhere to be found around here. He was far away. Was he sleeping? Did he lose concentration? Maybe just 1 minute of lack of concentration could have caused all of this. And then he has made a big mistake. He was looking for a way to correct, to compensate for the mistake he made. And that led to another big mistake. Now he's out. The only thing we can do, like Promise was saying, is for us to get clips of these games. And then we follow up the referees week in, week out. For example, referees are going to officiate tomorrow. By tonight, there should be a Zoom meeting with all the referees, talking to them, telling them, psyching them up, using some of these clips to teach them, okay, look at this decision Emmanuel took, it was wrong, don't do this. We talk to them over and over again. Before you know it, we'll start getting what we should get. We'll be getting perfect officiating, we'll be getting almost near perfect officiating, because it's difficult to get a perfect officiating, almost near perfect officiating. This is totally condemned in all ramifications. It's appalling. It's appalling.
All right.
It's disgraceful.
All right.
So we have to do so much.
Okay. So before I let Promise and Anietie go, I would like to ask my final question. There are cases whereby referees are complaining of safety. I mean, when they go out to officiate, they are not sure of safety in the venue, and for fear of their lives, they have to just probably do what they need to do to stay alive. I mean, so that they will not the stories will not be told after maybe they are gone. What can a referee do in such situations where you know that you're going to a venue and the 3 points must be gotten at all costs, especially when we are currently in the second round of the Nigerian Premier Football League?
Now, I think the NFL has done so well. The NFF have done much in reducing violence and threats to referees in different venues. It's not the way it used to be. It's not the way it used to be. No referee can come out today and say he was threatened before the match in any stadium, unless the referee fails to report it to the authority. When a referee is threatened, the referee should put it in his report and send to the NFF. And from what the NPFL board and the NFF is doing right now, I don't think anybody or any club in any center will want to touch referees. I don't think. That should not be part of the reasons we should be having this kind of officiating.
All right, Promise, can I get your thoughts before we move on?
100% I agree with Ferdinand. Gone are the days where we want to attribute whatever mistake that was done to insecurity at the stadium. Yes, this is Nigeria. This is Nigeria where, yes, of course, people want to do things and all that. But of course, again, we've seen instances where stadiums were banned because objects were thrown to officials. I think the one in Jos, the object didn't even hit the official, or it was very minor touch on one of the officials. That the stadium was banned for 3 games and others. We saw last year, we saw insurance. We've seen points dotted. Who wants to lose 3 points at this stage of the league? So insecurity is not even an issue for us to start discussing this kind of situations. For me, I think this bounds down to us trying to see what we can do to prepare this referee psychologically, just like Ferdinand also said that if we can prepare the referee's mind ahead of their game, 24 hours to the game and all that, it will go a long way in making sure that we get the best that we can get from the league when it comes to referees.
All right, I must say a big thank you to gentlemen who have graced us with their presence. That's talking about Promise Uwaeme and Anietie Ferdinand. Thank you very much for coming, and we hope to have a league that is free in terms of quality officiating. We hope to see quality officiating, and we hope to see that NPFL will be used as a reference to other leagues in the world. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.